This time on the Coach's Cut, Coach Tice is telling us his top 5 teams, plus detailing the best way to handle the bye week. And later, the DC for the Buffalo Bills joins the show. All that and so much more coming up right now. Welcome inside the Coach's Cut. Happy you're hanging out with us. I'm your host, Mike Davis. Now it's time to meet the star of the show, playing tight end in the NFL for 14 seasons. This 6'8" former college quarterback went on to become the tight end and offensive line coach for 5 different franchises, as well as the head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. It's the one, the only Mike Tice. Happy to be with you, Coach. You like my do today?
I do like you do. You
good.
Got a fresh cut, baby.
Hey, I have to look good for you, you know? I have to make sure you're proud of me. Now listen, Coach, as we enter Week 8, I'm curious. I want to know, who are your top 5 teams in the NFL right now?
Well, I'm going to count down from 5, and we're going to start with my old team, the Seahawks. They're the top 3, 5, 4, and 3 are all on a bye, and this way I don't have to talk about 5 teams. So the Seahawks are doing a good job. Darnold is not making the mistakes. He's got only 4 picks to this point, but we do know he is a turnover waiting to happen. But his number one stat is 27 bigs. And what I mean by bigs is they calculate that 20-yard plus receptions.
Okay.
He's got 27. There's only one we'll talk about. There's only one other team that has more, and that's the Rams.
Wow.
So he's doing a good job. Of course, Jackson Smith and Jigba is the guy. He leads the league in receiving yards, and he also leads the league in bigs.
So these are those explosive plays you always talk
explosive
about.
We've been talking about for weeks. He's got 14 of those.
Wow, yeah, he might be the best wide receiver right now.
Then we'll move on to those Rams with Matthew Stafford, unconscious so far this year. 17 touchdowns, which is number 1, 2 interceptions. He's doing a great job. He's got 30 bigs, which means he's got 30 throws, receptions of 20 yards or more. That's amazing.
Wow.
And then number 3 would be those Lions. And the Lions look good. Jared Goff's got 15 touchdown passes. We're talking about the key players. Amon-Ra St. Brown leads the league in touchdown catches with 8 touchdown
Isn't it
catches.
crazy they lost the OC and the DC and they're still rocking and rolling?
Just a tribute to their staff, a tribute to the head coach, and they're doing a really nice job. They got some stats out there defensively, too.
Yeah, they look good. All right, okay, and now let's hear the last 2 teams you got.
Well, the last 2 teams, the Chiefs, they don't have the best record in the league, but they might have the most explosive offense moving forward besides those Lions we just talked about. Patrick Mahomes is having an MVP season, 14 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. He's run for 4 touchdowns. He's got 20 bigs. He's just doing a tremendous job. Travis Kelce, we talked about last week, has got some youth in those legs again. He's got 207 yards after the catch. 20 first downs. Rashee Rice comes back last week, has 2 touchdowns already.
Big impact.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy hasn't really gotten his feet underneath him yet, but he's going to make some plays down the line. And we talked to Andy Reid last week. Tyquan Thornton, there's an N in there, is really come on as a young receiver. Hollywood Brown. And then the defense, Chris Jones, led by Chris. They have 29 tackles for a loss so far this season.
They didn't get off to a hot start, but they're one of those teams. Once they catch some momentum, they're going to be a tough out. Now, give us your top team.
My top team is the Colts.
Really?
Yeah, the Colts are my top team. They're 6-1. They play the Titans this week. Hopefully they don't take a step backwards. Daniel Jones, he's loving not being in New York. He's checking all the boxes. 10 TDs, only 3 interceptions. He's rushed for a couple touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor leading the league in rushing yards, Mike. And he also has 11 total TDs, 10 rushing TDs. That's amazing. Tyler Warren, the big tight end from Penn State. You talk about yards after the catch, Michael. 255 yards after the catch. And DeForest Buckner on defense is just racking them up. 3 sacks, 7 tackles for loss. The team in total together, Mike, they have 37 tackles behind line scrimmage.
Yeah, they have everything tightened up. Offense, defense, special teams, they look good. Now,
they look real good, Mike.
Yeah, all right. Now, interestingly, Coach, there are 3 teams that have won 4 games in a row. We're talking about the Pats, the Broncos, and the Bears. I want to know from your perspective, Coach, why are those 3 teams so hot?
Those teams are finding out their formula. Now, let's start with the Patriots. It all starts with the quarterback. In fact, all these teams we talked about, their quarterbacks
That's
are
the
playing.
common thread.
That's the common thread, right? Quarterback-driven league. So Drake May is having a phenomenal year. He's got 12 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, Mike. He's got 24 of those bigs, and that's number 4 in the league. That's pretty good. But listen to this, 75% completion percentage. That's unheard of,
So that
Mike.
means he's, choosing the right, he's going through his options and kind of choosing the right place to throw
They're
the ball.
doing a great job with him. Kason Butte, I think that's how you say it, 4 touchdowns, 7 bigs. Stephon Diggs has got his legs under him. He's having a tremendous season. He's got 39 catches. And we're going to have on the receiver coach from New England as one of our guests down the road when they have a Thursday night game. But on defense, we know about some of these guys. Harold Landry, 5 sacks, 7 TFLs. He had a good day against the Raiders in the opener. And a guy that the Raiders let go, Kalavin Chasen.
Yeah, and they also lost Spillane, too, to them as well.
And how about 4.5 sacks and 5 TFLs for Spillane?
Yeah, so we knew Vrabel was going to get that team going, as the head coach there. But tell us about the next team.
Oh, the Bears.
The Bears, it's surprising.
Can you believe it? The Bears have won 4 in a row, and the reason is because of the quarterback has settled down. He's only has 3 interceptions, and the defense leads the league in interceptions with 11. Kevin Bayard has 4 interceptions. That leads the league. You look at Rome Odunze, the big kid from Washington. He's lighting it up. You see the numbers up there.
Local kid to Vegas as well.
DeAndre Swift is averaging 4.7 yards a carry, which is really, really nice. And Montez Sweat is a beast.
So offense and defense coming to play there. We all knew Ben Johnson, the OC from Detroit. He's good at the run game and creating some creative ways to get the run game going. So DeAndre Swift is having a nice year.
He's doing a nice job. And the main thing is back to quarterback play. The quarterback has settled down. He's not making the big mistake.
Okay, and last team you got here that's super hot for us.
The Broncos, and they're doing it all with defense, Mike. I'm not sold on Bo Nix as a quarterback, but he's done an outstanding job. 11 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. You see it up there on the sheet. Sutton is on my fantasy football league. I'd like to see a little bit more touchdown production out of him. But look at defensively, Mike. Cooper's got 6 sacks, 5 TFLs, and Bonito has 8 sacks and 7 TFLs. They lead the league in sacks with an amazing number of 34 sacks after 7 weeks.
And I mean, specifically the Broncos, this is a team that they're winning a lot of tight games. We saw it against the Giants. They've had, a few of these comeback victories. What does that tell you from a team just to have that fortitude and that perseverance?
They believe. If you believe in the plan as a player, you're going to go out and stick with that plan mentally and give it everything to execute that plan for the coaches and it's and for each other.
Yeah, I think we see a lot of commonalities, a lot of common threads, good quarterbacks, good defenses, and a lot of good head coaches on that list.
Absolutely, Mike.
All right, good stuff there. Guys, next up on the Coach's Cut, the defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills is joining the conversation. Coach Tice and Bobby Babich coming up right after the break.
Well, I'm joined this week by the defensive coordinator of the Buffalo Bills, Bobby Babich. Bobby, thanks for taking time to get with me during your bye week.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Look forward to it.
I first want to start out, you were on the staff in Buffalo. In 2021, you were coaching the safeties, I believe. And your dad, Bob, was on the staff, who I know real well. And 2 things. One, your dad retired after the 2021 season. You became the linebacker coach. How was it, first of all, working with Dad? And second of all, how was it taking over his group and going into his meeting?
So to be co-workers was really cool. I think the biggest benefit to it all was we lived about half mile from each other, and they got to see their grandkids, my mom and dad. So, but it was great working together and something that, for sure I'll cherish. Moving positions, I'd been in the secondary and played in the secondary pretty much my whole career, and making that move was, uncomfortable for me, having, coached a position I'd never coached, but it was the best thing that I've done in my career, and, definitely grew in that moment.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have some versatility. Like I went from quarterback to tight end and to O-line coach. So, coaching is coaching, teaching is teaching. I agree with you.
That's exactly right.
So let's get into the Bills a little bit. You guys are on a well-deserved bye week.
Yep.
So far, teams have done a nice job coming out of the bye. What will you look at during the bye week, and how will you use this information to help the players moving forward?
Yeah, we'll look at everything. We'll look at everything. We'll look at what we're doing well and what we're not doing so well, and then make the appropriate adjustments that we need to make. Not only schematically, you look at personnel, you look at how you're using guys and where you're using them. Um, so that's what we'll do. We'll look at how teams are attacking us, and make sure we have a clear understanding of all the things that I just talked about.
Yeah, and injuries, as you know, play a major part. You guys are as beat up as anybody at that defensive tackle position. But this week, I read, I think you're getting back Larry Ogunjobi, and you're getting back the big defensive end, good run stopper, Michael
Yep.
Hoyt. So that should
There
help you
you go.
guys. That should help you guys a bunch. Are you going to get those guys in the rotation moving forward?
Yeah, yeah. So we're definitely looking at all the pieces coming out of this buy and where we're going to be. It is nice to have them back, getting them back in the mix. Look forward to that, and we'll put together the best combination, at every position that we have moving forward.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to get those. That's why the bye week is such an important part of what we're doing in the NFL. So Ed Oliver's been banged up. Boy, what a great player. He came back last week. I think he had a sack, and he's getting much healthier. Hopefully, you get Milano back. Unfortunately, he always seems to be dinged up a little bit. But that Daquan Jones injury in pregame had to hurt, and T.J. Sanders, that's the rook, right?
Yes.
You lose those guys, and you're counting on those guys for depth and rotation. How the heck did that affect you?
Yeah, I mean, we gotta be ready to adjust at all times. Certainly losing DQ in pregame, especially after the inactives are turned in. There's nothing you can do after that. So, you know, all we could do was adjust. And we certainly did that. To the best of our ability. And then, losing TJ, obviously a young player, where as you know, coach, the reps are as valuable as anything. Losing out on those reps certainly doesn't help. But, we've got plans in place to make sure that we're able to adjust and, deal with the ebbs and the flows of the NFL.
Yeah, it's tough. I remember one time we had put up our inactives. We had 7 O linemen. That's all we had, and one guy got hurt in pregame. And you're like, "Oh my God, we have 6 O linemen. What are we
Yep.
gonna do?" But
Yep.
that's the way it goes. So lastly, Bobby, creating turnovers is so important. You guys have gotten the ball out 8 times, but you've only recovered 3 of those. I know you'd love to see that turnover creation go up in this middle part of the season. Are you guys going to address that during the bye week? Moving forward?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. That's the thing we've done consistently over our time here is we've taken the ball away. I think we're up there real high in forced fumbles, if not number one, top five in the NFL. But we've got to get the ball back. We
yeah,
talk about it all the time, and that's also in the interception category. And we've got to do a better job there, and we're certainly going to address that and continue to emphasize the things that we know have been a recipe for us to have success.
yeah. And I think you guys will get it done. You've got a great coaching staff. You got some great players. You're getting some players back. And of course, you got the great quarterback who happens to be on my fantasy league. So, but listen, I appreciate you. I appreciate your dad and your mom, Nancy, and we'll talk to you down the road. And let's use this bye week and come out of there firing, huh?
That's right. That's right. That's the whole goal.
All right, Bobby. Thanks for taking the time, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks to Bobby for taking some time to join me. And check out the full interview right now. Just go to our YouTube page at Silver State Sports.
All right, after the break, Coach Tice is telling it like it is. After an embarrassing blowout loss to the Chiefs, Coach has some choice words for the Raiders. Welcome back to the Coach's Cut with Mike Tice. Mike Davis here with you. So, Coach, it was not only ugly last week for the Raiders, but just straight up embarrassing, losing 31-0 to the Chiefs. So, Coach, please just tell us straight. We need the cold, hard truth right now. What went wrong?
Well, what went wrong, Mike, is the same thing that's been going wrong since we started the show a number of weeks ago. Geno Smith, 10 interceptions, leads the league, tied with Tua.
Yeah.
We talked about all those good teams a couple segments ago, and the first thing we talked about is how well the quarterbacks are playing and not turning the ball over. Their turnover differential is -5, and you're not going to win a lot of games with a -5 turnover differential. So those things go hand in hand. Okay, now, Ashton Genty. You drafted him in the first round. When are you going to focus on he is the guy? Listen to this one, Michael.
Yeah.
The Raiders are only calling a run on first down about 16% of the time. That's the lowest in the league.
It makes no sense when you draft a guy 6th overall.
Makes no sense.
Right.
Not only that, it helps the line out if they're coming off the football and not backpedaling all the time. Okay, number 3, stay with the rush. 3 rushing touchdowns. Okay, you say 3 rushing touchdowns. Put it in this perspective. The Colts, who we talked about, have 17. Okay, the Lions have 10. The Chiefs, I put this one in here, who don't run the football, have 8.
Wow.
And the Raiders have 3. So the running game is not where it needs to be. 15 defensive sacks. That's all they've got. It's 15 sacks. We talked about the Broncos, another key team. They have 34 sacks. The Rams, who are checking a lot of boxes, the Rams have 26 sacks.
Wow.
And I could go down the list, and it's not working. 46 missed tackles. That's 9th in the league. They're missing too many tackles. They're getting there, and then they don't finish the play. So, do you want me to keep going?
Yes, I kind of do.
Okay, here. We already talked about rushing the ball with Genty. They're 32 in, we've already mentioned this, 32nd last in the league in running the ball on first down.
Right.
So that's not going to happen. 31 offensive points per game. They're 31st in offensive points per game. They're only averaging 14 points per game. That's all they're scoring, 14 points per game. Now, some of that, Mike, is because when they get to the red zone, guess what? They're 32nd in scoring touchdowns in the red zone.
That's worse than the league.
It's the worst in the league, Mike. There's only 32 teams.
So you can see on the screen right now, there's not a lot of good. And I'm curious, Coach, you enter the bye week now with all this bad stuff going on. I'm curious how you think the Raiders are going to handle this bye. What can they address? What should they address? And are any of these things really fixable?
Well, first, let me give them a little love before we talk about the bye week. They are 3rd in the league in tackles for loss, so we have to give them their just reward. They have 43 tackles for loss. We talked about all those other teams that have tackles for loss, the Chiefs, et cetera. So that is the one thing they're doing
so
well.
There's one bright spot,
but
there's a lot of bad spots.
Okay, so what you do during the bye.
Yes.
You look at, here's what we wanted to do when we came out of training camp. This is the offense we wanted to be. This is the defense we wanted to be.
Yeah.
It's not working, okay? What are we going to fix and try to make better, because that's our mantra. That's us. That's the Raiders. What are we going to fix, and what are we going to get rid of? I was going to use another term.
Yeah.
What are we going to get rid of? Because you can't keep doing the same stuff over and over. That's not working, and that's what the Raiders have to do during the bye. This is a critical week for the Raiders. They cannot come out of the bye and stink it up like they did last week.
Okay, all right. A lot of stone cold hard truths right there from Coach Tice. Guys, coming up after a short break, we got Odds and Ends. All right, Odds and Ends time. So, Coach, let's start with your baby, the turnover differential. Let's first take a look at what happened just in Week 7 from the turnover differential. Give us the breakdown.
Well, teams that are +1 or better, this was the number 1 week. We're 11-1. There was the one anomaly, and that was the Seahawks, who won, and they were -3.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it held true to form more than any week so far in the season.
Okay, all right. Now, when we take a look at the season-long turnover differential, what is the update on that?
It's really starting to pop out, Mike. Teams that are +3 or better, Mike, are 52-28.
Wow.
I know, that's a lot. And you see up there the teams that are really kicking butt. The Bears we talked about earlier are +11. The Jaguars, to me, are a little bit of a phony team, +8, and then you see the Lions, the Colts, and the Chiefs all in there. The teams, Mike, that are -3 or worse are 27 and 48. You just can't win. Now, my son Nate says, Dad, that's great with the turnovers, but how do you put that into a formula of winning, you know? And here's what it is. If you're worried about what you're doing, you live in Vegas, you want to go do something about the games, it's a couple things. If the team's turning the football over, they're going to continue to turn it over. So just remember that. And another thing that I've always said is once hurt, always hurt. When you got a guy that's constantly hurt, like I mentioned Mike Milano for the Bills, he's always hurt. It seems they're always hurt. So those are some things that fans should look at.
It's fascinating, too, like a phony team, like you say, like the Jags, just because they have a good turnover differential, it puts them in with a nice record, you know, compared to some of these other teams.
Yeah, and they're not a good team. I mean, they're okay.
Yeah, okay. All right. Now, let's talk about this. Earlier, we spoke about the Raiders heading into the bye week. I'm curious how you handled the bye week as a head coach. What were some of the things you instilled in your team during that bye week? How did you handle it?
Yeah, a little bit like we talked about during the Raiders segment, a little bit like Bobby Babich talked about earlier, is take a look at yourself. Don't look at your opponents. Take a look at yourself. What are we doing well? Okay, let's do more of that. Let's take a look at what we're not doing well. And then it goes into two categories. One, can we fix it? Are we close to doing okay with that? Or should we get rid of it and move on to calling more of the plays or the defenses that we're doing well?
All right. Well, it looks like the bye week is a chance to look in the mirror and basically just see what's going on with everything. So I like that advice, Coach. We all got to look in the mirror as well. Thank you to Coach Tice. Thank you to producer James, editor Jess, and Ryan, and the entire production team. I'm Mike Davis. Thank you so much for watching at home. We'll see you next time for The Coach's Cut.